Today we will be presenting our group project STA 108 Basic Statistics and Probability. Our lecturer is Azlan Abdul Aziz and we are from the group RAS 1204C. This video group project is prepared by LUQMAN bin Muhammad ZAKI, metric number 2020857924. Secondly, by AMMAR bin ZAKARIA, number matrix 2020874234. And lastly, myself, SYAUQINA BINTI ADLAN, matrix number 2020826714. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SYAUQINA BINTI ADLAN. I want to introduce our group project study on association between total revision hours and exam score. Background of the study, what do we find is that from one website, Taylor and Francis Group 2006, according to educational psychology David Campbell, a total of 174 students who had enrolled in a mechanical engineering degree course complete a study diary for 1 week. The study showed that grade point average did improve somewhat with hours of work, but students could work long hours and still obtain poor grades because they use inappropriate learning approaches. While according to one more website, according to the infogram, there is a positive correlation between total revision hours a student spends studying with the exam score the student earns on final examination. The study also found that the more time a student spends studying, the higher you would expect the student's grade to be. This is according to the infogram 2022. Okay, so our study were conducted to fulfill the requirement of the group project STA 108 syllabus. Okay, our objective for study is to determine descriptive information regarding total revision hours and exam score. Secondly, to analyze the association between total revision hours and exam score. And lastly, our objective is to construct regression model for exam score. Our significance of study is enabling the analyst to determine the relationship between total revision hours and exam score. This study is proof scientifically to identify how the total revision hours is influenced in determining exam score. Furthermore, by using SPSS applications that our lecturers has been teaching us, it can determine the descriptive statistic and the correlation and regression of this study. I think that is the function of this SPSS application that our lecturer have teaching us Azlan.
Let's move on to methodology part. Methodology part consists of 3 topics, which is data description, graphical technique, and numerical technique. For first one, data description, it summarizes and organizes the characteristic of the data set. A data set is a collection of observations from a sample. Data description can be divided into 3 parts, which is frequency distribution table, measures of central tendency, and measures of variability. For frequency distribution tables, it determines the frequency of every value of a variable in numbers or percentage. For measures of central tendency, it is mean, median, and mode. Mean is the most important and most widely used in a measure of central tendency, while median is used to identify the middle value of observation that is arranged in order. And lastly is mode, is the value that has the highest frequency in a set of observation. For measures of variability, it gives a sense of how spread out the response values are. It consists of range, standard deviation, and variance. Range gives the answers of how far apart the most extreme values are. For example, the of how apart between the highest and the lowest extreme values. For standard deviation, it gives the amount of average, how far each value lies from the mean, while variance gives the average of square from standard deviation from the mean. Next is graphical technique, which is histogram. A histogram is a graph that represents the probability distribution of a dataset. A histogram has a series of vertical bars where each bar represents a single value for a variable. The height of the bars indicate the frequencies or probabilities for the different value of ranges of values. One of the most important uses of histogram is to determine if a dataset follows a specified probability distribution. Although there are many formal statistical tests to determine which probability distribution a dataset follows, it's good practice to visually inspect the data with a graph before engaging in any formal statistical test. Last but not least is numerical technique. For example, census. Numerical technique is a data type expressed in numbers rather than natural language description. Sometimes it is called as quantitative data. Numerical data is always collected in number form. Numerical data differentiates itself from other number from data types with its ability to carry out arithmetic operations within numbers. Numerical data can take two different forms, namely discrete data, which represents countable items, and continuous data, which represents data measurement. Example of numerical data is the census. Census allows us to know exact characteristic of the studied sampling.
Figure 1 shows the variables that we use, which is the input for this report, independent variable and dependent variable. Figure 2 shows the values of independent variables and dependent variables used in this study. In the figure above, it shows that the mean value of total revision hours is 58.53, which means on average 58.53 hours is spent, while the mean value for the exam score is 62.33, which means on average the students scored the mark of 62.33 marks on the exam. The median value of total revision hours is 61 hours, which shows that 50% use less than 61 hours of revision hours, while the other 50% use more than 61. As for the exam score, 50% scored less than 66 marks, while the other 50% scored more than 66 marks. Next is the mode value. The mode value of total revision hours is 61 hours, which means that 61 hours is the most frequent amount of time used for total revision hours, while 66 marks is the most frequent marks scored in the exam. The value of standard deviation of total revision hours is lower than the value of standard deviation of exam score, which means that the standard deviation of total revision hours is clustered around the mean, while the standard deviation of exam score is more spread out. The variance value of total revision hours means that on the average, the squared deviation of each hours from the mean value is 132.91, while the variance value of the exam score means that on average, squared deviation of each score from mean is 432.667. The value of coefficient of the total revision hours is negative 0.047, which means that the distribution is skewed to the left, while the value of coefficient for the exam score is negative 0.798, which means that the distribution is also skewed to the left. Range value is the difference in between the highest value and the lowest value. The range value for total revision hours is 39 hours, while the range value of the exam score is 66 marks. In figure 4, the value of correlation is 0.887, which means the correlation between total revision hours and the exam score have a strong positive relationship. The scatter diagram shows that the correlation between total revision hours and the exam score have a positive relationship. This can be confirmed as the total revision hours increase, the exam score also increases. In this figure, it shows that the independent variable of the study is total revision hours, while the independent variable of this study is the exam score, which is in the entered column. In the model summary figure, it shows that the correlation between total revision hours and exam score is 0.887, which means it has a strong positive relationship, while the R-squared value shows that 77% of the study is explained, while 23% is just random error. In the figure above, it shows that the A value, which is the intersection value, is 27.885, while the B value, which is the gradient value, is 0.492. These two values, which is A and B, can be used to construct a linear regression equation. The linear regression equation is exam score equals to 27.885 plus 0.492 total revision hours.